I hate videos. Now, you may be wondering, if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here? Woohoo! Happy Friday to you all. It is the first Friday of January 2024. And I am just super excited because I get to spend some time with all of you. Happy New Year to one and all. Thank you for coming over and spending some time with me. If we haven't met yet, my name is Inger van Roy, and I am known as the Community Connection Catalyst. So, what does that mean? Well, I help you develop your community and build relationships with those who matter. So, if you need help with that, please reach out and let's talk. I want to say hello to everyone who is here today. And if you are here, please drop us a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to be able to weave your comments into the conversation and just have you part of it. I also would like to say thank you so much to our amazing sponsors at Africa Online Radio, where we bring you only the very best in local and international music. Africa is your oasis of entertainment, your Kapsa vibe. And if you didn't catch that, um, come on over and listen. Tune in when I am live on Africa Hub every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a show on this platform called Wonder Women Wednesday. I know you do watch it sometimes on LinkedIn or on YouTube Live, but that's only for an hour. If you want to, you can come and catch the half hour before and after my LinkedIn live because that's when I get to play some awesome music. Um, I'd love to have you there. So if you want to check that out, you can go to the website scrolling across your screen, which is africop.co.za, and click listen live. We always have some amazing tunes playing and definitely a wonderful lineup. Today is season 2, episode 1, and we will be speaking about the power of connection with a wonderful guest. His name is Harry Turner, and um, Harry and I were, we've met a few times. We were introduced by a mutual friend. And Harry was joking with me when I told him that, oh, the show is at 9:30 a.m. He said, well, they don't call me the nocturnal therapist for nothing. I know many people are not bright and bushy tailed this early in the morning. And sometimes it helps to get a little cup of something in there. So, without further ado, why don't we welcome Harry to the stage? Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Can you hear me well?
I hear you well. How are you?
Okay. I am in a state of appreciation, gratitude, and curiosity with guided towards doing some introspective work in a bit. But
Mm.
it's good energies, all good energies. You know, I I feel pretty good.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Won't you please introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do, please?
I am definitely should have been prepared for this. But I have I'm the CEO of the School of Outliers. You can meet me or link up with me. Join the email list at becomeanoutlier.com. Hello, hey Katie. BECOMEANOUTLIER. And basically, I've been a therapist, and I've had a private practice for several years, but I entered into the field of mental health roughly a decade ago. And since then, I've worked at hospitals, I've worked at corrections, and maximum lockdown areas, made my way all the way to private practice. And I've studied an array of theories and working on people one on one. I realized that it doesn't matter what the issue was, what the person's background was, we're all dealing with the same thing, which is this fear rooted in a critic that talks to us enough to influence us to fall into the trance of unworthiness. And so it's
Mm,
always about bringing back light when we fall into those darker spaces where we just don't feel like we have whatever it takes and may not have a purpose or whatever. Like really sitting with that and leaning with that long enough for you to see the truth on the other side of that. And so that's what I've been helping my clients do in my practice. And I said I could help people one on one. I could help people on a bigger scale, whatever scale is my scale, what aligned with me. And so I'm transitioning. I'm in my last 6 months of my psychotherapy practice, and I'm transitioning to being a speaker, retreat facilitator, and just basically focusing the space of connecting with larger communities, forming a Sangha. That's the season for me right now, forming a community, and really making School of Outliers thrive as well, but really connecting with like-minded or like frequency rather, similar frequency individuals, so we can just continue to when you share, when you evenly yoked and you share, there's no losing in the sharing. It's only an amplification of what's already there. And so I'm
mhm.
looking for a season of amplification. So I got to be, it's important for me to be equally yoked, aligned with whatever it is that I do. And that's pretty much it. So you can check me out. Thank you for putting that.
Awesome. No problem. Thank you. So if you'd like to connect with Harry, you can go to his website, becomeanoutlier.com. It's scrolling across your screen right now. So remember, if you're watching live, drop us a comment. I'd love to say hello to you. Let's see. We have Katie says, "Good morning, all. Happy Friday." Woo! Thank you for being here, Katie. Nice to have you. And we have Sammy. Sammy is so guys, let us know where you tuned in from. Sammy is in Nairobi, Kenya. And he says he's looking forward to the session. And
Mm.
we have the amazing Catherine Lang. She says Friday. She loves that. Oh my gosh, Katie, you're making me laugh. She says, if we haven't met yet, where have you been hiding? Oh my gosh. Catherine says, let's change all the days of the week to yay days. Yes, please.
uh,
For me, that
I
is.
co-sign that actually.
Sorry,
Yeah,
say that again.
I co-sign that. I agree with that.
Awesome. Yes. Let's change them all to yay days. Katie also says hello to you, Harry.
Hello.
And she says fear is a son of a gun. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And Catherine says season of amplification. Powerful.
Mm.
Wow. I have an amazing this lady, and you need to connect with her by the way. So Ani Papazian, she says good very early morning. It's 6:30 a.m. for her. Thank you for being here, Ani. It's so nice to see you and happy new year. Happy new year to all of you. It's wonderful to have you here with us. So, Harry, are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Awesome. So tell us, Harry, what inspires you?
Simple enough. People inspire me. Growth inspires me. Seeing things that were right in front of my face, but I couldn't see were there inspires me.
Mm,
Increased awareness inspires me. Transformation and transcendence inspires me. Connecting or integrating spiritual truths into my physical walk inspires me. Discerning the difference between truth and love. Oh, not truth and love, excuse me, between love and non love, between truth and non truth. Like not
mm,
even knowing that there was a difference and that I needed to know these things. And then learning through experience the importance of understanding these things so
mm,
I can roll my boat gently down the stream.
mm,
Because merely, life is but a dream.
mm,
Life is but a dream. All of the signs, it's all there. That's why it's told mainly in poetry and nursery rhymes, because life also is paradox. So you can sound, honestly, when you're talking about life and you're really hitting on those spiritual truths, as if you some like you're talking in riddles. In my faith, that's one of the things that Jesus was charged with, always talking in riddles. But how can you fit an ocean into a cup?
mm,
Words only go so far. But anyway, so what inspires me is connecting with people and really helping other people, assisting other people to be in alignment with their truth. So my mission statement is to assist others in developing the audacity to live unapologetically authentic. And it looks differently for different people, but it really is certain steps that you take, which I call the lit effect, which that's I could hold off on that. But yeah, other people inspire me. Like
mm.
you inspire me. Your
Thank
audience, they inspire me, you know.
mm, mm. You know, hmm, people inspire me too. I love community, and I've spoken to you about Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. And the reason why I love that so much is just because I really live, eat, breathe everything around that statement because I know that who I am today would not be without the people that have been in my circle. Um, I actually received a message from a friend, James. He says, "Hello to Harry and wishing everyone a wonderful and prosperous new year." There's something going on with LinkedIn and commenting on LinkedIn. It doesn't always populate in StreamYard, which is the application that I'm using. Um, but just to go back to what you said, so I can't remember when we last spoke. I'm not certain whether I shared this with you before, when I shared with you, but um, last year was a year for me where I was examining my belief system and deciding what was true and untrue. And I I'm still seeing things where I didn't realize this was a belief of mine, but I'm changing it. And I'll give you an example. So in my home growing up, we always cooked and had like a family meal on high holidays. And um, in our racial group, it's tradition, and it's also tradition to have like a big meal on Sundays. Well, the Sunday thing I kicked to the curb long ago. I didn't realize that I was actually challenging a belief
Hmm.
and deciding that it's not for me.
Hmm.
But so we had Thanksgiving in October, and I cooked and I did all the things. because I'm the mom and I'm the wife, right? So I did everything with a little help from my family, but I mainly do it because it was my passion. And I said after we ate for Thanksgiving, I said, you know what? I don't think I want to cook for Christmas. And I'm sure my family must have thought, okay, yeah, but she's gonna probably do it anyway. Well, Christmas I didn't do it. I said I'm gonna order in, and I did. I did that. And it was part of also, for me, I had two focus words, which were peace and joy for the year of 2023.
Mm.
And so I knew that, you know, not spending 3, 4 hours to prepare the meal would be part of cultivating my peace and joy. And yeah, I did it. I can't believe that I did it, but I did.
Congratulations.
Thank
Quite
you.
courage to change those algorithms because you don't
Yes.
know that fire together, wire together.
Yes, we're
But
wired, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the whole conviction feeling comes from. Is that whatever we do as a practice, whatever we practice becomes a program, so that those
Yeah.
neurons that are used to firing together, anytime we come close to that space, it's like you're supposed to go this way. This is the path
Mm,
of least resistance. And we have to constantly remind ourselves that, look, I made a new choice. And this choice is in alignment with me,
mm,
me right now. And that's all a part of acceptance too. So, like in my style of things, acceptance is the first step of the lit effect. It's a lit factor. I have 5 lit factors, and acceptance is one of them. Acceptance is the choosing to remove yourself away from what it is that you're trying to control. And to put more philosophically, it's about letting go of the resistance to the present moment. You just let go of your resistance to the present moment. Accept it. No,
mm,
it's not comfortable, but love is patient. And if you look at the actual meaning of these words, the original denotations, not the connotations, what it became later on with us,
mm,
very watered down. But you look at the denotation and even the etymology of these words, and you'll find that patience is the capacity to hold pain or discomfort for an extended period of
yes.
time without becoming discouraged or dismayed.
Mm, mm,
The race is not given to the swift, but to those that endure it. You got to sit in there and not be discouraged. So how can you not be discouraged when what you want you don't have? You have to surrender your wants.
mm, mm-hmm.
Some of those wants got to go because they no longer serve, and never really did serve. You know,
Yes.
there's a scripture in my faith that says, "Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want."
Oh, wow.
But then in Psalm 37:4, it says, "Delight thyself in the
Mm,
Lord; He will give you the desires of your heart." Distinguishing wants from desires. He
mm,
said, "Desires of your heart." These wants coming from His mind. A
mm,
mind that is a thinking function, not a knowing function, but a thinking function. And so it thinks, and it thinks that it knows because it thinks about a certain thing enough times that it convinces itself that it's real.
mm,
And so it jumps from thinking to thinking it knows, and then operates from this belief of actually knowing
mm,
until some discomfort comes along, or
mm,
something motivates it to
mm,
realize, humble it from that prideful place and be like, no, I don't know. And you'll have, if you're going on that path of transformation, you're gonna have that so many times to where you just gotta, I know what I know right now, but if you ask me what I know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know anything. Because that's what every level keeps teaching me.
mm, mhm. Hmm,
Let go of this faulty belief that you, or the avatar, the small you, the me, the ego, keep on thinking that has the answer. It is a double agent.
wow. Wow. I want to say we have so many comments, but they're not populating on here. So I want to go through them quickly. Um, oh my goodness. I have Bupesh Joshi. I hope you're still watching. They say that they said, "Hello, I am from Pythagora, in India." So thank you for tuning in, Bupesh. And we also have Laura Merlando saying Happy Friday and Happy New Year. Much love to you, Laura. Thank you for being here. Then we have Catherine says, "See, all I've needed was a co-signer. Let's turn this world upside right in 2024."
Hmm. I say, and I co-sign and I hear what you're saying. I'll just add mine. I say, let's turn it outside in.
Oh,
That's where we need to be at. We need to be in.
mm. And she also says, Catherine says, it's not a riddle if you know the answer. It's only a riddle when you choose not to see the truth.
Hmm.
Wow. Yes. Wow.
Hmm. Facts. Facts. Facts.
Wow. Catherine says also, common sense is only common sense if it is common to you. But
Hmm.
even common sense doesn't have to dictate our steps if it doesn't come with peace. I love
Hmm.
that. It needs to
Hmm.
come with peace, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Peace gives us a veto power,
Yes.
but yeah, that was a, yeah, very powerful statements,
Yes.
you know. But that
Yes.
peace is important.
Yes, it is. It is. Katie, I love you, Katie. She says, I bet your family was sad and hungry. My family survived. We had a meal. It didn't have to be prepared by me, and we were able to sit and fellowship with one another. And I wasn't exhausted from doing all of it, so it was good. And then Catherine says, ruts are the negative spaces, often that we don't even know we've dug. Trenches are intentional practices that lead us to our needs, wants, and peace. Ooh. So we shouldn't
It
say that we're in a rut, but we're in the trenches.
Our intentional practice that
Mm,
leads us to our needs, wants, and peace. I
mm,
get what she's saying,
mm,
and I would love for her to elaborate more on that. Though
mm.
that last part right there.
Yes. Yeah.
If you comment again on it, I'll have more to say. I have something
Yes,
to say right
please.
now, but I would love some more clarity.
Kathy, please comment and let us know. Elaborate a little bit on what you're saying. Let's get back to the questions,
All right.
Mr. Turner. Okay, so
Are we not
um,
the same size here?
because it's all eyes on you, you're in the hot seat.
Oh, all right, all
So,
right.
so my next question is, um, when you were growing up, who was your role model and why?
It,
And you can mention multiple people. That's okay.
that's what I was going to say. And I'll keep it brief. My brother first, because he was like, people just were drawn to him no matter where we went at. Like, we'd leave the city, stop at a gas station, people were like drawn to him. And this is when I was a young child, so I thought that was cool because I was very shy. It's like, man, it'd be cool if people just came to me. Um, and and he played sports. He was like really was like one of them cool cats. Um, and then later on, as I matured, it became my father. My father, because of his level of integrity, whether he's right or wrong with something, if he believes that that is the right path, he will stand against an entire village
Mm,
by himself. And I've seen
mm,
him do it
mm,
multiple times.
mm,
So that gave me, I mean, when you think about that, the social anxiety of just speaking before people who agree with you. What about standing before people who you know can't stand you
mm,
and then speaking your truth boldly with
mm,
confidence?
mm,
So then he became my
mm,
inspiration. And then insights as I was spending more time and I had a few transformational experiences happen. Insight hit me and it was like, you are your role model.
mm,
And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, you are. You've always been.
mm,
But you need to see you.
mm,
You need to cultivate a deeper relationship with you. And you'll see that you are all you've ever been waiting on.
mm,
I'm still growing in my knowledge to understand that though. It
mm,
wasn't like I heard that, got that and received that download and was like, all right, bad, moving forward. Because there's a whole lot of neural pathways that have been formed that have been misaligned or do not reflect that truth.
mm,
And so now I have to engage in intentional practices that can cultivate those neural pathways um, so that I can continue to choose that truth more easily with
mm,
the least amount of ego resistance that is.
mm, mm. Hmm. I'm just thinking that you are you right now, right? But later on, or like in a few days' time, you will have evolved to a different level of you, right? So the thing is also like we look at other people and we admire certain traits about them. I think the key is realizing that we can admire somebody for their traits, but we can also strive to emulate those things and make it our own, thus helping ourselves to really evolve into the best version of who we are and reaching our highest potential too, right? And that's how you become your own role model.
Yes. And what we see and like in the other only represents aspects of ourselves.
Hmm.
It just, we hadn't accepted that truth yet. So we need to see that truth in somebody else before the deeper self is like, yeah, that's your truth.
Mm,
You've been playing a role.
mm,
Shared your role. This is all the act you've been doing. That's your truth.
mm, mm, mm. And I think it's also a matter of it's already been manifested in the spiritual. It just needs to manifest in the natural now, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Gratitude is the
Mm.
greatest state of receivership. And so, yeah,
Sorry,
while
say
in
that
the
again,
giving,
please. Say that
huh?
again. Gratitude is the.
Gratitude is the highest state of receivership.
Mm,
It leverages you into that state of receiving because we only give thanks when we receive something.
mm,
And so if we say those things as though they already were,
mm,
giving thanks, truly feeling that energetically in our body, the longer we hold that state of gratitude, the
mm,
stronger that force becomes to pull that from the metaphysical or the quantum or the spiritual into the physical, because it always lands in the physical last. But
mm,
wherever attention goes, energy flows. So the more intentional you respond with it, even if it isn't physically present, the
mm,
more intentional you are about responding with it, the stronger the relationship. The stronger the relationship, the more dense it becomes in the metaphysical or spiritual, until like
mm,
raindrops that become too dense for the clouds, it must collapse into physicality.
mm, mm. Call those things that be not, right?
Yes.
Um, Catherine answered you. She says, so dig not dead. So she says, you dig a trench to move the resources to where you need them.
Mm,
The trenches are the mind connections of hope and possibility that move the resources to where you need them.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Connections to hope. Yeah. With this faith, hope, and love.
Mm.
The greatest of these is love, faith. But I actually have the tattooed on my arm. Love never fails. I truly believe that. But in these times, like where I'm at right now, you're about to ask me about your communities and how to build it, which I'm not an expert on. But faith is
Mm.
the word that for me this that keeps popping up this year is sangha. Sangha, which represents uh, I think it's a Buddhist term, but which represents um, a community coming together, working together with that sincere synergy being present, working together for the same purpose,
Mm.
like a true tribe. And my natural state is that of a hermit. All I need is the forest and my books.
Mm.
Like, give me
Mm.
a forest, give me my books across the span. But that's my hermit.
Mm.
What I've learned through exploration is that I can digest loads of information and I can see the connections in those things. I'm really good at seeing connections. But then I'm meant to go out and network, connect, and then share with other people what it is that I see. Because there's something about the way that I see things that while it's normal to me, I had to hear throughout my life time and time again.
Mhm.
Like, I don't hear people talk like you.
Yeah. You know, ever since I met you, I looked and I listened to you and I kept thinking, you remind me of someone, but I couldn't put my finger on it, who it was that you remind me of. And then um now during our chat, the last half an hour, it hit me that you remind me of a friend of mine that I knew since I was a teenager. Um, and like he and I, we went to church together, and then we were at the same university. Um, and we were very close friends. And when I got married, he actually he was the master of ceremonies at my wedding. And like sometimes we'll lose connection for years, and then we'll just find each other again, and just it just goes on like normal, like like those years didn't happen. And we just catch up, and then everything's all good, and we continue. But like he's got very similar energy to you.
Mm,
Yeah.
I'm
His
pretty
name is
sure me.
Yes, I'd actually he's not very active on LinkedIn, but I think I would like to connect you to so you can just talk. I don't know why. Um
Let's do that. I'm not very active on LinkedIn either.
yeah. Let's I just want to go to the comments quickly. I see Sri says hey hey and happy new year. She's tuned in from Houston, Texas.
Hey,
Nice to see
Houston.
you. Um, and then Catherine was commenting. She says, "Seeing others live their possibilities, clear the darkness from your eyes, so you can step into yours. Yes.
Hmm.
Honestly, for me, that really happens. I have a show because I my friends showed me that it's possible that I could do it because they did. I wrote a book because of them, because I have seen a few friends write books. Um, so like, it's that's this is one of the reasons why I do what I do, even in terms of having a show, because I want to show others that if I can do it, so can you, right?
Marianne Williamson, and as we are liberated from our fears, our very presence gives others permission to do the same.
Mm,
You even see that in the animal kingdom, right? When those wildebeests, if you ever watch them on the Discovery Channel, and they're making a long journey. It comes to a point where have to stop and cross this lake, and they know that lake is alligator or crocodile infested. I think it's crocodile over there.
yes, crocodile.
Crocodile,
Yeah.
crocodile infested, and but they'll go in circles for hours.
Mm,
Like, what do we do? What do we do? And some of them may even die just running in circles
mm,
until that one wildebeest says, "Okay, I may die in there. I may. It's probable, but
mm,
I know I'm gonna die if I keep going in circles here." And so it jumps in that lake, and I mean in that river. And it always surprises me because it never seems like the first one is the one that the crocodiles get to. It's like as soon as he jumps in, this ripple effect happens. And the whole herd off of this one that just jumped in, they're like, "What? He did it? Yo, come on, let's go. We could do it too." And the whole herd comes right behind him.
yeah.
And that one I find typically makes it on the show. I don't really call them getting caught up, but the ones that follow behind, that's the one the crocodiles would actually get to. So that fear of if I jump in first, I'm gonna get got. But then not really seeing that happen, and then seeing how that one choice decision
Mm-hmm,
made the whole herd confront their fears.
mm,
There's
mm.
power in community.
There really is. There really is. My gosh. Um,
Yes, and oh, you go ahead.
mhm, yes.
I was gonna say, Catherine. I saw a comment said, "Faith it until you
Yes,
make it," and I
that's what
wanted
I
to
was going
say,
to show.
so for me, faith it until you make it. That's perfect
Mm,
because there's a lot of people say fake it until you make it. There's no faking
mm-mm,
because your manifesting power depends on you connecting thought, word, and deed. If thought, word, and deed are not connected energetically, then you don't have that synergistic flow coming through your body to where you like truly empowered in your manifesting powers. Thought,
mm,
word, and deed. And so you envision it just like you experience it before you experience it. That's how you regulate it internally. So if you think about going on a cruise, if you really love to go on a cruise, the moment you think about getting on a cruise, you get excited. You haven't even chosen a room, you don't know what's available. You just had the thought, I'm going on a cruise. And now all of a sudden you're excited internally. You see, you don't have to be there in order to experience it internally. And the more that you hold it internally, the faster it manifests into this physical environment and physicality.
mm,
So faith is not belief in what you do see, which is the present moment, because what you see in the present is dying moment by moment. It's going into the past. The past is history. So the present moment that we now see is becoming history with every single moment.
mm,
So it's not a belief in what you do see, but acceptance of the unseen.
mm.
You have to accept that what you see, the
Okay.
desires of your heart, you have to accept that reality and begin to envision what that looks like, what that smells like, what that feels like, using all of your senses to be here, because what you're doing is using your body's energy to ground it into physicality, because the only place your body can exist is in a physical environment.
Yeah. It's the substance of things hoped for.
Evidence of things unseen.
Yes. And Catherine says that's going to be her next book. By the
Mm.
way, Catherine has written so many books. Oh My gosh. Yeah.
I need to get with
And
Catherine then so I can write a book. I've
yeah.
finished writing my book. I didn't start. I've started at least 10 books. Haven't finished them. Hadn't finished them. So intentionality.
Yes. Oh my word. Do you know that's my word for this year?
That is mine as well. Like one of
Really?
my codes, one of my in my recipe books of nocturnal therapist recipe books for getting through life. Intentionality reflects relationship is one of the codes.
Mm,
Wherever attention goes, energy flows is one of the codes. So prior to us getting on here, I was just reviewing some one of the hindrances to having a clear path,
mm,
and it was just talking, reiterating again to me about unwise attention. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. What are we giving attention to?
mm.
And what we give attention to, we declare it to be real just by our choice to give attention to it. Because why would we pay attention to something that's not real? Which is
Mm.
why whatever you fear, you attract, because we
Yeah,
typically interact with our fears, even if we're running away from them. That's a choice
exactly.
based off
Mm,
of something that we deem to be true,
mm,
even though it's a lie.
mm,
Which is why you lean into your comfort. I mean, your discomfort. You lean into that fear because, like any mirage, when you move towards a mirage, instead of move away from it, eventually it dissipates because there's nothing there. It's false
mm,
evidence appearing real.
mhm. Hmm. Catherine says, whew, I needed that reminder to jump. Yes, Catherine, it's so important, right? So since it's the new year, let me ask you, um, do you do you choose or do you have a focus word for a year? Do you usually do that?
Not usually, but this year, discipline and intentionality.
Mm,
Discipline and intentionality, because I'm building new neural pathways. When you build, you build roads in the cities, and of course, it's going to be easier to travel down a road than it would to drive through the forest. And so you build these roads. It takes time to put down those roads. You got to dig stuff up, clean out the area.
mm,
Make room for it, put down these wires to support it. All that building of the neural pathway. So I have to be intentional about these practices that accompany these new realizations because I have to combine thought, word, and deed. I need to update my body through intentionality so that I'm in full alignment with these new choices, and that's going to take more effort. So I'm gonna need to be disciplined. My body will always choose the path of least resistance. So new algorithms, no, it ain't with that.
yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Um, I have a friend. His name is Forrest. I
Mhm.
interviewed him a few weeks ago, and Forrest shared with us that he is on a journey of um, using an ice plunge. So you know how people can take cold showers?
Mhm.
He does a cold plunge. So he bought himself a plunge bath that sits outside, and well, when it was in the summertime or like in the fall, he was putting ice in there to make it cold to a certain temperature, and then he would get in and sit in there. Um, Sometimes for, like as long as he could handle it. And eventually he's built up his resistance so he can endure it for long. For me, oh my gosh. Like I have a friend, Gail, she takes cold showers every day. And I say, like, she tells me all the time, oh, you should do cold showers. I'm like, no, no. I even tell her, like, have you seen the color of my skin? Like, no, we don't do that. But it is beneficial. It is beneficial to your internal body as well as externally your skin, right? But yeah. And Catherine was asking a question. She says, "What was that? What we give attention to, we."
Oh, um, wherever attention goes, energy flows. Whatever we give attention to, we pour energy into it.
Mm,
We're energetic beings having a human experience, and yeah, right now we're transferring energy to one another just by this tele conference setup. But we see each other, we're speaking to each other, and so energetically we're connected, even though we may not be physically connected. We're giving attention to each other. But wherever you put attention at, so if you put attention towards your fears, that's what you give energy to. The more energy you feed it, since everything consists of energy, the larger it's gonna, seem, and the more you're gonna want to, not deal with it or run from it.
mm,
But if you feed your faith, your doubt will have no choice but to starve to death. That's
mm,
why we choose faith.
mm-hmm. And she says, "My husband would not survive a plunge bath. He
Neither I.
barely, no, neither me neither. She says he barely survives walking in the house through the rain. He has no cold tolerance. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
like I just wanted to say to that. That's why I had no comments as you were telling while you were saying that about the ice bath because zero comments. Yeah, all I can say is if that's your cup of Sprite, then obey your thirst. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. Oh my gosh. Um, okay, let's go back to the questions. Let's see. So this is really about Ubuntu connection community. Um, how do you? I know. So you told me that naturally you lean towards being a hermit, right? But you do recognize that um, the value in community. So how do you? What is your approach? Like, how do you intentionally build community?
I am in baby steps with that now.
Mm,
They say that when the students are ready, the teacher will arrive. But also it says that when the teacher is ready, the students will arrive. So I'm always continuing to learn and grow and regulate this internal world. Accepting self love has been a big part of this journey. Self compassion, self forgiveness,
mm,
self love, because we see and transform in proportionate to how much we heal. Like our passion and our healing is on the same path. So the more that we heal, the
mhm,
more we are able to access resources at various stages of our journey through here.
mm,
So at this stage, community, to answer the question, I'm a novice at that. Like, because I'm so comfortable with the books and being in the forest, like I've been a hermit. But also there's been periods in my life where I was very much the outgoing person, you know. So I know that that's there too. And if I was in a crowd, I can talk to people. That's not I'm not
yeah.
really I'm not really shy.
No.
It's just that I've been very discerning about what I engage with over the past, I want to say 4 years, and then it became more concentrated even up until this past year, super concentrated on what will I engage with because I needed this mind to be renewed a little bit more. There's a
Mm,
shift happening,
mhm,
intuitively. I feel this shift happening, which
mm,
means that we are in a liminal space. A liminal space. It's the space. It's a space of tension because we have to let go of who we were in order to become who we might be, as Lao Tzu would say. And so
mhm,
there's tension there because the mind does not like change. And so in
mhm,
this shifting space right now, in this liminal space that we're all in right now, I have to be very intentional about what practices apply to this space,
mm,
you know? And so
mm,
that's community is one of those things that came up, but I'm very much a novice at it, you know? I really am. Either people get me or they don't get me. That's been my entire life. So to
Yeah.
find the people that do get me, I don't know. Come on shows and talk. I honestly, I have a website, but I
Mm,
don't have many members on it. I have 89 members on there. I don't have these thousands and thousands of members on my website, and that's if they even check the emails that I send out. I know some of them do. Some of them check it religiously. I know, um, but building a community, authentic community, that's really a focus of mine. There's a feature on my website where I can actually have in the site, I can begin to host certain groups. And so I was thinking about beginning to host certain meditation groups. We meet once a week, and just meditate for a little bit, and then breathe and talk it out, you know. Another another group on studying certain books that feed your spiritual knowledge, because my gift is combining the mental perspective with the spiritual. The reason
mm,
why a lot of spiritual folk don't understand the spiritual is because they haven't focused on the mental. If you can understand the mental, then you can understand what is not the mental much easier. So much of what we deal with, like speaking religiously, the flesh is really, there's no flesh walking around without a mind. It is the mind, but it is the ego part of the mind that is narcissistically energized and sees life through an ethnocentric lens. This part that needed to cultivate in our prefrontal cortexes with our advanced minds that's hyper souped up and geared to keep us surviving. It has a scarcity mindset and it's rooted in fear. That system, that
mm,
body,
mm,
that will always fight against spirit. And so knowing the difference between that speech, which is rooted in fear, versus this speech, which is rooted in love, you know,
mm,
like,
mm,
but building community. So yeah, um, I am brainstorming ideas right now. I was holding an event, and it came to me again. I'm holding the event in February in Baton Rouge, and I'm waiting for the ticket sales because they've been up there for a little while. And I'm like, I'm not getting any ticket sales. And I'm like, so I sat back with that. First, the ego uh, observation, my ego
mm,
observation. Well, maybe they're not ready for me. Let me stay there.
mm.
I'm a deep sea fish. Yeah. I only come up to the surface for a little while, enjoy the sunlight. You know what I'm saying? It's like beach time for me. I dive right back down.
Mm,
Maybe I'm not ready for them.
mhm.
That's the uncomfortableness, right? That's the truth that we have to lean in, that we choose not to. Even something that seems like that would be small, but even something as small as that, to look at yourself critically and say, well, are you ready? How's your internal state? What
Mm,
thoughts have you been wanting people to purchase tickets, or have you already given thanks for people purchasing tickets? Because you can't have what you want. Want only increases or invites in more wantingness. So have you been giving thanks? Have you been in a space of gratitude, or have you been in a space of anxiety? you
mm.
know so like little things like that. But anyway, I would like to form a community, but I'm not the best at forming communities. You would ask me about mental health. If this would have been a mental health episode, yo, I'm your guy.
No, but the thing is, it starts with intentionality, right?
Mm,
And what people don't realize is, um, we speak about mindset. Many people don't realize that that is actually biblical. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right?
mhm,
So we think that some of us might think it's woo woo, right? Because we're operating from a stance of being um, a Christian. So we think that that is woo woo, but it's not. It's not, right?
mhm.
But here are some tips for you because I have a three-step system in teaching community, which is connect. So you first connect, then you communicate, and then you collaborate. So when you connect with people, that's the beginning of building community. And then we need to build with one another. We build the connection by communicating. So messaging, meeting in person, meeting one on one or in person or whatever, that builds communication between us, right? We get to know each other and we build a rapport. And then collaborating is finding something that we can do together,
Mm.
like this. Me having you on my show, or um, you and I may be doing a series together with regards to, um, I don't know, mental health and community, right? Because I'll bring the community, you bring the mental health, and we talk about that,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Those are my three steps. And so, by the way, if you're watching and this is the first episode of season two, because I had season one and 100 episodes. And during my 100th episode, which was on December 1st, I was asked by my community, so how is season two going to be different? And that's when I realized I needed to take a break from my show and really think about how I wanted to be different and be intentional about it. So, the way that I'm doing it, by the way, is I'm taking my show and I'm going to implement my three steps in it. So I speak about connection, communication, and collaboration always. When I get invited to talk, that's what I talk about when I'm talking about building community. So my show is now going to be this is my episode about connection, and then the next one will be about communication, and the next one will be about collaboration, and so forth. Because that's important that we live what we speak, right? Intentionality again. Um, so can you believe that it's almost an hour?
Hey, I can, because we flow with it. We flow with it. And connection, you mentioned connection again. When I think of connection, I just want to say real quick, for me, it's been a great many years of internal reflection and connecting with oneself. And I realized, like I knew, but then you know more of
Mm,
what you already knew. It gets deeper and more richer for you
yeah.
as you continue to experience. Um,
Hmm.
that's the whole point, is that I can't give you what I don't have. And so
Yeah.
if I'm going to connect, then I have to connect with myself first.
First.
If I'm going
Yeah.
to form authentic connections, which are the
Yeah.
only connections that mean something to me, you
Yes.
keep everything else. Everything else is, that's GMO, genetically modified stuff. Like, just keep it away. I want the real deal, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much for having me on here.
it's a pleasure. And if you are in the comments or watching the replay and you would like to connect with Harry, please know that it's all about authentic connection for him. And reach out to him. Go to his website, becomeanoutlier.com, and he is waiting to connect with you.
Yes. And my email is NOC at becomeanoutlier.com.
Nice. I want to just see. Catherine said, I'm not a hermit. I can barely spell the word. Yes, I know. Catherine is amazing. She also says, the more you stand boldly in your unique design and purpose, the more you draw people hungry to stand in theirs. Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She also says, I'll be happy to connect. I've been told I'm enough to be counted as a community. Yes. Oh my gosh. She says you have to know. you to share an authentic you. Exactly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Harry, for coming and being the authentic you that I know you to be. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure. Pleasure on this, and the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me on, and I appreciate you and your guests. I appreciate all y'all.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'll send you to the green room if you can hang 10 for me there as I wrap up.
Okay.
And if you're still watching, thank you for spending some time here with us. It's always awesome to come and be here, um, spending time with you. You know, I love you. And I look forward to another episode with you on Inspiration from Inga. Until then, take care, be blessed, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.